Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, I want to have a quick discussion about what is being taught, what is being shown, or what has been shown in the U.S. school system. And this is grade school, grade 1 all the way to 12. And then obviously in university as well. Now, there was a movie that came out about 10 years ago. And this movie has been shown throughout the United States. It has been shown in the U.S. school system. Now, the problem with this movie I'm about to talk about is the actual movie, which is very loosely based on historical fact. The movie is taken as historical fact in many of these institutions of indoctrination. Again, universities and grade schools in the United States. What movie am I talking about? Well, I could be talking about any number of far-left, Hollywood-produced movies that are completely and utterly historically inaccurate. Now, the movie that I'm talking about specifically is Lee Daniels' The Butler. Yes, Lee Daniels' The Butler. You would think on the surface that in watching the previews that this is a fairly good-natured movie and is perfectly reasonable to be shown in public schools. Now, I'm going to argue against that. I'm going to say this is completely not okay, completely unacceptable to be shown in U.S. public schools. Now, for some of you, you may have watched it, and you may understand why I'm saying this. But in the school system, here in the United States and possibly some other nation states as well, the movie is taken as historical fact, as if it really happened. It didn't really happen. Not in terms of what you see in the movie. Now, the biggest issue that I have with the movie is the very first 10 minutes of the program. The first 10 minutes of the program has the actor, the young child, who will soon become the part played by Forrest Whitaker. He is living on a plantation in Georgia. That's completely inaccurate as well. The butler, or at least the character that this movie is loosely based around, did not live in Georgia at any point in time. The character that's being portrayed is a guy by the name of Eugene Allen. He was actually a butler for various U.S. presidential administrations, and he worked in the White House as a butler. But again, the first 10 minutes of this movie I take serious issue with. Reason being, it has Eugene Allen as a small child working on a plantation as if he was a slave. And within the first 10 minutes of the movie, what appears to be a white landowner comes to the cotton field and demands that Eugene Allen's mother join him in a outbuilding, a barn, where she is then raped by that landowner. When the white landowner comes out of the barn, the young Eugene Allen asks his father, well, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to do anything about this, Dad? And the father confronts the white landowner, and at that point, the white landowner pulls out a pistol and shoots him in the head and kills him. It never happened. It did not occur. That incident that is being shown in U.S. schools, again, you go into this movie thinking it's a lighthearted program, and the first 10 minutes you are indoctrinated with a fictional story that never occurred. Never occurred. Never happened. Nothing like that ever happened. Absolute, complete, and utter insanity. And again, the problem is this movie is being shown as historical fact, and it is manipulating the youth of our country into thinking that, okay, all right, this is really bad. This is horrible. This is what white America is about. And it's utterly false. And it's purposely designed to have that effect. It is designed to make you, the viewer, take serious animosity with what is being portrayed in this movie. Any reasonable person that goes into this movie believing that it is based on historical fact and watches the first 10 minutes is going to walk away absolutely appalled. And most people, unfortunately, the uninformed urbanites here in the United States, again, are completely uninformed and do not know that this is absolutely a work of fiction. And they believe it to be historical fact. And again, the teaching institutions, the indoctrination institutions here in the United States are portraying this as historical fact, this movie, when it is not. His mother was never raped by a white landowner, and his father was not killed for confronting said landowner. Didn't happen. It is designed to manipulate history. And that is what it is doing. So if you have kids in school, if you watch this movie, take it with a grain of salt. Tell your kids that if they come home and they start asking questions about this movie, and they will, and most people, most parents, being uninformed urbanites, will have no idea and will just take it, yeah, that was kind of the way the United States looked back then. And it is false. It did not happen. Even if we get into the realm of antebellum South, in terms of pre-Civil War South, running from Maryland to Florida to the west towards Missouri and Texas, the average slave was perceived as an asset, something of value. They just weren't arbitrarily taken out and executed for no reason. It did not happen like that. In fact, many emancipated slaves in the South ended up staying on with many of these plantations. Many of these plantations, and look, I'm not trying to make any case for slavery. It was just a different time, and slavery existed across the broad scope of the human world. It just has, and still does. But again, I don't want to deviate too far from this specific movie that is being shown and being documented as the historical record when it is not. It's designed to do that, and it is designed to misrepresent history and create division, create animosity, and create tension. And that is what Hollywood, that is what the left here in the United States is attempting to do, especially with this movie and inside the institutions of indoctrination throughout the United States. As always, thanks for joining us, and have a good day.